What if the deepest secrets of your soul are already sleeping within you, just waiting to be discovered? What if your greatest fears are the key to your true power? Carl Gustav Jung, the master of the soul, once whispered, "Who looks outside, dreams. Who looks inside, awakes." In a world that relentlessly pulls us outward, we invite you on a journey that could change everything. A journey inward. In the depths of our modern existence, surrounded by digital distractions and endless obligations, the connection to our true self often fades. Carl Gustav Jung, that brilliant pioneer of depth psychology, left us a treasure trove of insights, timeless wisdom that has not lost any of its transformative power in the 21st century. Jung was more than a psychologist. He was a cartographer of the soul, an explorer of hidden worlds within ourselves. His journey began where Freud's ended, at the threshold of the unconscious. But while Freud lingered in the darkness, Jung sought the light hidden within the shadows. Today, together we unfold the map Jung drew for us, a map that doesn't lead to an external destination, but to the center of your own being. Each of his quotes is like a sparkling star in the night sky of your psyche, a beacon that shows you the way when you feel lost. Are you ready to embark on the journey that leads you to yourself? Then let us dive into the timeless wisdom of a man who explored the complexity of the human soul like no other. Our journey begins where all true knowledge originates, in the silence of self-reflection. Jung recognized that we live in a world that constantly pulls us outward, while the true adventure awaits within us. Who looks outside, dreams. Who looks inside, awakes. In this profound thought, the essence of Jung's philosophy is revealed. The external world, with its fleeting stimuli and distractions, is like a dream, transient and often illusory. The true awakening, the profound realization, only begins when we find the courage to look inward. In our time, marked by an overload of stimuli, it's easier than ever to lose contact with our inner self. We scroll through endless feeds, consuming information at lightning speed. And yet, do you feel that quiet longing within you? That sense that a deeper truth awaits you behind the world's noise? Jung invites us to pause and listen, not to the voices of the world, but to the voice of our soul. Because the awakening he speaks of is not a one-time event, but an ongoing process of self-reflection. The greatest and most important question is, who am I? This seemingly simple question holds the depth of an ocean. It has accompanied humanity since the beginning, and yet is rediscovered by each of us. Jung recognized that the search for the self is a lifelong process, a journey without end, but full of discoveries. Amidst the various roles we take on in life, as partners, parents, professionals, friends, we often lose contact with our true core. But who are we beyond these roles? What timeless essence is hidden behind the masks we wear? Take a moment and ask yourself, how often do you really listen to your inner voice? When was the last time you paused and asked yourself, who am I really? Deep within us lies an immeasurable source of experiences, emotions, and unlived potentials, the unconscious. Jung saw it not as a threatening abyss, but as a treasure trove of wisdom and creativity. Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate. This powerful statement reveals one of the most profound insights of depth psychology. What we don't consciously recognize and integrate controls us from the shadows. Our unconscious patterns, fears, and desires guide our decisions without us even noticing. Do you know the feeling? You repeatedly find yourself in similar situations, making the same decisions even though they don't serve you? Jung would say, that's not coincidence or fate, it's your unconscious pulling the strings. Making these hidden forces conscious is the first step toward true self-determination. When we find the courage to dive into the depths and embrace our shadows, we begin to consciously shape our lives instead of experiencing them as predetermined destiny. What unconscious influences might be shaping your life today? What recurring patterns do you recognize in your relationships, your work, your decisions? The answers to these questions are the beginning of your liberation. Our relationships with other people are not just external connections. They are mirrors of our inner world and catalysts for our development. Jung recognized the transformative power of encounters like few others. The meeting of two personalities is like the contact of two chemical substances. If there is a reaction, both are transformed. In this brilliant metaphor, Jung reveals a deep truth. No meaningful encounter leaves us unchanged. Every relationship, whether fleeting or lifelong, leaves traces in our soul, shapes us, and transforms our being. Our deepest wounds and our greatest healings often happen in relationships. The pain of a separation, the joy of connection, the challenge of conflict. All these experiences are not just external events, but inner processes of transformation. Jung invites us to experience our relationships more consciously, not just as a source of joy or suffering, but as mirrors of ourselves and as opportunities for growth. In every you, we ultimately encounter a part of our own self. What chemical reactions are you experiencing in your relationships? Which people have changed you the most deeply? And perhaps even more importantly, how consciously are you shaping these processes of transformation? One of Jung's most revolutionary insights was the discovery of the shadow, those aspects of ourselves that we reject, repress, or deny. But it's in these hidden corners of our psyche that the key to our wholeness often lies. That which we do not acknowledge will show up as fate. In this concise statement lies one of psychology's deepest truths. What we repress returns to us, often in a distorted and problematic form. The shadow doesn't disappear when we ignore it. It grows in the shadows and manifests in our lives as seemingly external fate. Do you know those moments when you get annoyed by the very qualities in others that you yourself unconsciously possess? Or those recurring situations that repeatedly confront you with the same challenges? Jung would say, this is your shadow, calling for integration. The unconscious knows no time. This profound insight from Jung illustrates how deeply rooted our inner conflicts can be. Past experiences, unresolved traumas, or suppressed emotions continue to exist timelessly in the unconscious and influence our present life as if they just happened. One does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious. Jung challenges us to leave the comfortable path of self-idealization and instead take the courageous path of shadow work. True transformation, true enlightenment, happens not by striving for perfection, but by integrating our repressed parts. What unpleasant truths might you be avoiding right now? What aspects of yourself have you banished to the shadows? The invitation is, dare to look, because in the darkness, a hidden treasure awaits you. A deep human need is to live in harmony with our true self. Jung recognized that authenticity is not just a philosophical ideal, but a psychological necessity for a fulfilling life. The soul demands truthfulness. In this simple statement lies a deep wisdom. Our soul, our innermost being, longs to be lived authentically. When we are untrue to ourselves to please others or meet societal expectations, an inner conflict arises that drains our energy and diminishes our joy of life. In a world often shaped by external expectations and conformity, Jung reminds us of our soul's deep desire for authenticity. True personal development is inseparably linked to the courage to be true to ourselves, to find our own truth, and to live by it. The pursuit of integrity, of alignment between our inner and outer lives, is not always easy, but it is the key to inner peace and fulfillment. When we find the courage to be authentic, we release energy that was previously tied up in maintaining our masks. In what areas of your life could you be more authentic? Where do you feel your soul's call for more truthfulness? The answer to these questions could be the beginning of a profound transformation. Growth and development often require the courage to leave the familiar behind and dare to try something new. Jung recognized that true transformation always begins with a farewell. You will not find a new earth until you have the courage to leave the old one. This powerful metaphor speaks directly to our hearts. We often cling to habits, relationships, or beliefs, even when they no longer serve us. The fear of the unknown makes us stay in the familiar, even if it constricts or hurts us. Jung encourages us to break free from old patterns and limitations to discover new possibilities and unknown potentials. Personal development often requires a leap into the unknown, the courage to leave the comfort zone and follow life's call. We cannot change things until we accept them. This seemingly paradoxical statement holds a deep wisdom. True change begins with acceptance. As long as we fight against reality, we bind up energy that we could use for constructive change. Only when we accept things as they are, without judgment and resistance, does the space for genuine transformation open up. What situation in your life is difficult for you to accept? Where are you fighting against a reality that you can't yet change? Perhaps in that very acceptance lies the first step toward a profound transformation. We only experience life in its fullness when we open ourselves to it, with all its highs and lows, joys and pains. Jung recognized that true aliveness comes from the willingness to embrace life in its entirety. Life is lived when we open ourselves to it. In this simple statement lies a deep invitation. The full spectrum of life only unfolds when we are ready to embrace new experiences, emotions, and encounters. Fear and closed-mindedness can rob us of valuable opportunities for personal growth. Jung encourages us to cultivate an attitude of curiosity and receptivity, not only toward the pleasant aspects of life, but also toward its challenges and shadows, because it is often the difficult experiences that shape us most deeply and help us grow. The darkness is the place where light is born. This powerful metaphor encourages us to see meaning even in the most difficult times of our lives. Crises, losses, and challenges can lead us to deeper insights and make us more resilient, if we are willing to walk through the darkness instead of running from it. What lights have emerged from darkness in your life? What crises ultimately made you stronger, wiser, or more compassionate? And what new experiences could you consciously invite into your life to grow